Hello there, divine ones. Welcome to another Sacred Strategy podcast episode. So, I am wondering if you are currently looking at revamping your group coaching programs or your courses. Do you have this insatiable need to look at your programs and see if you can revamp it? I get it. It is November now. Mercury is in retrograde, and it is the most wonderful time to pause, take a step back, and look what you already have in your courses and your group programs or your masterminds. And seeing if there's anything you can do over the holidays to improve it so that the experience feels that much more rich for your clients and the potential clients that are coming into your space. So, what I thought I would do today on the Sacred Strategy podcast is to go ahead and show you what I do with my mastermind and the client journey that I take them through. The reason being is that it might provide you with some inspiration and it might give you some additional things to consider adding into your own programs, as well as seeing how I work my magic inside of the mastermind as a sacred strategist and as a business coach, but more importantly, as an energy coach who supports folks not only from the strategy and mind's perspective, but from the energy perspective as well, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and let me review what this looks like. Now, before I do, since I am starting brand new here on YouTube, if you haven't subscribed, I would love, love, love for you to do that. And if you are on Substack, please go ahead and continue to follow me and share and comment. It would be such a delight to connect with you and to also reply to all of your love notes and your comments as well. All right, so back to you now. The way that I work this is number one, everything for me is housed inside of a white label go high level called Ivory. Now, the reason that I use Ivory is number one, I very much love the ethos of this brand and this company. It is founded by two women in Australia. Their customer service is impeccable. Their client care and the tutorials are top notch. And if ever I get stuck, there is a chat button that I can use. And so they will walk me through the process. And it is lovely. In addition, I have a team that are experts at Ivory, so I don't have to do it all or fix it all or understand it all myself. I can have my team members do it. Now, if you don't have a CRM robust platform like Ivory, you can use other things. So before I used other platforms like Thrivecart with my Squarespace and then into my ConvertKit and Circle. So again, really up to you. But the reason I share this is the following. One of the most important things that I have done for my mastermind is take a look at the front end of the onboarding process for my clients. And before, it was a bit haphazard. I would have to personally remember, or my team members would have to remember and manually do things. And I often felt overwhelmed with knowing that there were certain things I still needed to get done, but we didn't have an SOP. And so I didn't always remember what was the next part of my process. And also, I knew that if we built out a really sexy system, I wouldn't have to remember or look at my process and procedures, and it would do it for me. And so leveraging a system to support me and my clients so my clients energetically felt really held, and then also they would see how amazing the process was for them, made this such a number one priority for me in 2025. Okay, so what happens? I have a call with a potential client. They say yes. I send them an invoice. Once they pay that invoice, it kicks off an automation sequence inside of Ivory. So once they say yes, then I get a notification. As soon as I personally get a notification, I know that on my task within the next 24 hours is to reach out to them and say, oh my gosh, how exciting. This is amazing. Thank you so much. So that's the first thing that I do. Okay, so then the second thing I do is then I know that it kicks off in the automation a contract. and a welcome confirmation email to them. So they know in their inbox they're going to receive a "you paid for this," and then it'll send them a contract that they sign. Once all that happens, then it kicks off a notification for me again about me preparing to send them a gift. So I know what my tasks are. In the sequence itself, there's a number of emails that are scheduled to be sent to them so that they are very clear about their onboarding. Everything from in the next couple weeks, these are the three things that will happen. For now, here's what you need to know. And then another email might be something like, "Hey, here is a playbook that you can use and download that'll have all the information that you need, including the Google Calendar, our Zoom link, how you are going to be placed into a pod, and the intake form." Now, another email might be, "Hey, if you haven't filled out your intake form, please do so," right? So there's a very specific step-by-step process that I have built out that my team has then implemented. So whenever a client enters in, they go through that same journey. So for me and the mastermind, it is open. So people enter in at different times, but they always start on the first of the month. That gives us time to onboard them. That gives us time to set them up for success and not feel overwhelmed when they enter in. And that gives me time to have my first one-on-one coaching call with them before they even enter into the mastermind itself. So I then schedule our first call. And that first call is all about mapping and envisioning the next 3 months because they are in a 6-month container. And the reason why I do this is how often do you enter fully into an experience and then you get really flustered because you're given all of this information. You're trying to figure out where you're supposed to go. You're trying to understand the community aspect. There's lots of emails coming in and you're already feeling overwhelmed, right? And so, therefore, this helps everyone, my client that's entering in and myself, have a grounded map, understanding their business, knowing their messaging, where they're heading, what their revenue goals are. So, when they enter in, they already have a couple steps that they're taking, and they already know how they're going to show up in their pods and be laser coached. It makes everyone feel that much more secure. Okay, so after that one-on-one session happens on the first, I go ahead and open the space for them. They enter on in and I do an introduction. So rather than saying, "Hey, you go ahead and now do your introduction. You're brand new in a container of people that know each other." Yeah, no problem, no stress. It can feel overwhelming again. And so instead of having them introduce themselves first, I actually introduce them. I share with the community who this person is. I ask for lots of love, and all the luminaries come forth, welcoming them in, giving them emojis, and just making them feel so loved so that the newbie that is entering in now can relax into a space of now replying and eventually doing an introduction themselves. The next thing I do is I provide them with what their next steps are, which is go ahead and make sure all of the events and the calendar is set for you so you know when to show up. Please show up, and this is how you can ask your question. This is how you use the community support space in Circle and where you can ask your questions on a daily basis. And then they start going. Now, as that's happening, the next thing that we do after that is I make sure while everyone's in the group that there's a couple of things that happen for everyone so no one gets lost. So the first thing is every week there's a weekly email and post that goes out to everyone, reminding them of what's happening for the week. Because there are weeks where they have group coaching in their pods. So they're showing up for laser hot seat coaching. There are other weeks where they're getting 30 days of content and 90-minute lab. So it's a content creation lab. And they're getting a business spark lab where they're working on their business. Other weeks, it's more quiet, so they get to ask all their questions and support inside of the community portal. And then other times, there's some special things that happen, like our virtual retreats for them to know or because we have an in-person retreat. And so we're getting ready and in preparation for that. So every week they know exactly what's happening that week so that when they're feeling really full with life and they have forgotten to look at their calendar, they know what's going to be happening. I also have a calendar inside of Circle where they RSVP, so they'll get reminders. So for those folks that really like getting the reminders, they will know I'm RSVPing for these, and so I will remember to be able to show up because it'll pop up in my notification on my app and in my email and inside of Circle, which I end up entering into quite often. So that's where the context is for them. Okay. All right. Then within the 6 months, the other thing I do is I make sure that I have my one-on-one sessions with them at particular times based on where they feel the niggle and the intuitive hit around what month they want to have those one-on-one sessions. And then lastly, the other thing that I do is I take extensive client notes. And the reason being is I want to keep track of their journey, their questions, their key takeaways, and their action items that we've spoken about either inside of the community space or on our call. I want to also know their human design. I want to know the links and what is the project that they're working on. I want to know their loved ones' names. I want to know their personal experiences, keep track of their birthdays. All of those things are super important because it's not a transaction. It is about getting to know the person themselves and being really invested in knowing them. So after each call, I make sure I download the transcript. I go ahead and I upload it into an AI tool to help create the takeaways and the keynotes. And honestly, a platform like Fathom is fabulous because it'll do it for you, right? And so it will record your Zoom and then it'll provide you with the key takeaways, the recaps, the action items, and it'll send an email to those that entered into that call itself as well. So they have the recap. They have the replay as a recording on video, and they have all of the different notes as well. It's fabulous. So my job though is to then take that and then I make sure that I make my notes inside of my client notes as well. I also have a tool that I use to make sure that I know exactly where my Lush luminaries are, when they'll be ending, their birthdays, their addresses, their intake form information, all of their information and is housed in one place. And then I create little notifications for me. So for example, I will always be notified when it's someone's birthday so I can do a shout out birthday inside of the group. I will always be notified a month before they end their time so that I can begin to have a re-signing conversation or a thank you so much. Here's what you need to know because you're ending in a month conversation. And then at the end, I get a reminder knowing when I'm supposed to close them out, send them lots of love and blessings, and then remove them from the space. So there are systems in place for everything. The reason why that is so valuable is that your clients will feel it. They might not know all the things you're doing in the back end, but guarantee they're going to feel something energetically. They're going to feel incredibly held and they trust you that none of the balls are going to be lost. Right. And so that is really helpful because then they can enter in fully and with availability and vulnerability. And they also, for some reason, without them even knowing it per se, know that you're there for them, that you have their back. So having those back end systems, even if they have no idea the extent of work you've placed into it, I say that's one of the key things you can do during your holidays at the end of the year, quietly making sure everything is set. Those emails, the reminders, the onboarding, the offboarding. How are you getting yourself set up? What are the systems you put into place? What are the tools and platforms you're using for them? And remember, it doesn't have to be something that is complicated. For me, I hope that as I continue to scale, that I scale with simplicity, not with complexity. Okay. All right. So those are the things that I do. Now, from a client perspective, here is what my clients know as their job when they enter in and as they have been part of the mastermind. They know number one that they are showing up for all the calls as much as they can so that they could receive support during their scheduled pod coaching session. Number two, they're going to try and show up to all the other sessions because they know how valuable it is to listen to the feedback that I might be giving to someone else because someone else and their question might be exactly what they need at this moment. Number three, they know that they have valuable information and suggestions. And so when they're showing up for those calls, they are also providing input, feedback, reflections, providing resources and suggestions as well. Number four, they know that they're entering into the community inside of Circle, inside of the LUSH Mastermind area, and they're constantly asking questions and asking for support. The more you ask, the more you receive, the more you can take action intentionally, the more you can move towards the vision and goals of your business. Next, they also know if they are looking for something or they're stuck, they can ask for a resource or ask me if I've done it before and can they take a look at my example. I am an open book, so if they are in need of a launch calendar, I can show them mine. They might create one and say, Sora, what do you think about this? Is there something that you might change? I'll go in and I will give suggestions. If they know that they need ideas around a next set of launch emails and they tell me what they've done, I can riff with them and help them provide them with some additional suggestions. It's about co creation and co collaboration. It's not about me just giving a generic suggestion and them taking it. I am very specific to their needs and they know that. So they ask with specificity. And so they know to show up in that way as well. Lastly, they also know that they're here to make deep connections and they have conversations with each other outside of the mastermind. They will have calls with one another. They will see one another. They'll travel to go see one another. It's about building the friendships and the community and knowing that circular leadership inside of the space, whether it's for your group coaching program or your mastermind or your group training that you're providing, that I am not here from a hierarchical nature scared about them making friendships and making deep commitments with one another. If anything, I'm here to celebrate that because it means that we have a space where folks are really getting to know each other and they're invested in each other's growth. To me, that signifies success when it comes to me and my work. And so I hope and I celebrate and I listen and witness when they share. I had a conversation with this person the other day. We've been co working on this day together. And it is beautiful to witness them amplify each other. Okay, so those are the things that I do. I hope what this does is gives you some inspiration around really taking a step back, potentially having a CEO day where you're working on your business, looking at one project or offering of yours, and taking a look at the client journey, the onboarding, the re-signing, the offboarding process, recognizing how you are communicating with them within the time that they're with you, taking a look at the back end of where you're housing your information, like your replays, your course materials, your trainings, your resources, all of those things, your community, and taking a look and seeing, can there be anything that's improved? And then taking a look at yourself and the back end systems around how you're keeping track of everything. And is there any additional improvements you can make to up level your client care? Because your client care is going to make your clients feel deeply held, which means they're going to also desire to continue working with you. And so, therefore, that retention rate is key to also you feeling like you have breath in your business and not constantly looking for new clients. Majority of your time can be spent on really nurturing the people you have because that's super important while also growing your business by increasing the folks that are entering in as well. All right, that is your podcast for today. I look forward to hearing from you. So leave me comments and I shall see you again next week. Bye for now.